friends, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Oh, Marie, you like that?
That was
Listen, I hadn't done the right warm-up, so I was not sure if that was going to land, okay?
That was very nice.
And I think, it speaks to the authentic Kishshana. The one who bursts out into song, the one with the fabulous nails, the one with the glasses, And I just think it was a timely little bop, because today we're going to be talking about one of our favorite things. Can you be your authentic self as a manager? Dun, dun, dun,
Let's
dun.
answer in 3, 2, 1.
No.
Yes.
And there you have it, my friends.
This will obviously be a fantastic episode full of alignment and shared values.
Oh my gosh. Well, welcome back to Management Made Easy. I'm Kishshana Palmer, your co-host, and hanging out with my girl.
It's me.
Maria.
I'm her girl. I also break out into song, but it wasn't as good as your original drop there. Yes, I am here, Maria Dautruche, co-host, ready to stir the callaloo pot on this one because it's spicy, real, and something that we both live every day. We're talking about what it really means to lead with authenticity, especially when your authenticity doesn't fit the old school playbook for professionalism. Let's put those in some air quotes.
We're not even 3 minutes into this podcast, and you already trying to mollywop me. The word professionalism, I promise you, I probably have PTSD behind that word.
Oh, have a virtual healing hug.
You got to send me, come on.
A virtual healing hug for you.
Listen, my health monitor done went up, okay, friends? This is the age that we are at now, friends, where I am wearing a health monitor by Ultimate. Listen, Ultimate, you should be sponsoring Maria and me. Okay, I'm going to say that for the record.
The next episode, I'm going to bring out my blood pressure cuff. That's my favorite medical device in the house.
But before we get on to this professionalism, let me tell you a joke. So why Sinai, y'all, if this is weirdly the first time you've been listening to Maria and I, okay, we have children, okay? We talk about them quite regularly. Hers a little, mine is grown, okay? And so this morning, Sinai had me cracking up because she said she was in Dollar General, living on a college student's budget. And she walked down an aisle mistakenly she was like, Mom, I didn't realize there was so much incontinence products.
Because you don't need them.
And she said, and I thought to myself, I should take a picture and send this to my mom.
She's rude for that one. She is
what she don't know, and what I said is that we about to pitch to some incontinence brands because I am not embarrassed.
I mean, I know this is not the point of the episode. I just want to say it is wild to me that the human being who probably directly caused any incontinence you may be having is like, oh, you know what I should do? Send this to my mother. What?
Correct. That was the irony that I think that her baby brain just missed. I put you out of my, you know what? That's fine. It's totally cool. I said, listen, I am proud of the way I am aging. And there's just going to be some things that ain't going to catch up. But you know what will catch up? Being authentic. Because you're going to have to bring me to your welcome to the dark side. Okay? Because if professionalism means neutral nails, tight buns, and your best, I'm not here to ruffle feathers voice, then let me tell you, I was in trouble from day one, okay? I've been getting my nails done since I was 14 years old. Hello, if you're watching the video of this, look at these blingity bling bling bling. Shout out to Nails by Tori in Atlanta. Okay.
Always nice.
Since I was 14 years old, since acrylic was so strong and dangerous that you had to wear a mask to get it put on. Okay?
Oh, they were giving y'all masks. That's nice.
I had a black nail tech. She was very concerned for our safety and health. But I'm from the airbrush era with the airbrush gun. You see what I'm saying? In the 90s.
I remember when people had a style. They had a technique.
What a technique. You understand? And then my nails used to match my clothes for 2 weeks because I'm a New York City girl. And, we had to be on point going to school. So imagine, I had colorful nails. I had long nails. I had loud nails. And when I walk into the room, my nails often enter first.
Okay. I'm no stranger to that either. I love, not exactly the long nails. I played piano and couldn't.
That's why I quit piano, even as an adult. Shout out to Cindy, my voice coach and piano teacher, who was like, "No, for real, you gonna quit? Because I'm telling you to cut your nails." Yes, it's been so great.
But I do love switching up my hairstyle. I love playing with bold and colorful prints, especially African textiles. Whew, you couldn't quite convince me that I wouldn't have to make drastic changes to my presentation after graduation. And it was worrying me. It was really weighing on me.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I think between growing up in a conservative denomination, between having boomer parents, so a little dash of this, a healthy scoop of this. And then I went to a business school where they were like, these gray, black, and navy blue suits, this is the way of the future. And then I was in an internship program that was all about like respectability and assimilation as a way of progress, even though they taught us amazing skills and we learned so much about networking or whatever. It was definitely wild and oppressive in retrospect, but I didn't know that then. Okay, so let's not even get started on tone and language. Being loud, to this day, my mother's like, why are you so loud? Like, she's like a delicate, like a little piece of china. Why are you so loud? Speaking in relaxed vernacular, folks equate that with being unprofessional. Meanwhile, I'm just being me. Like, what happened to the idea, Maria, that leadership could just be human?
God forbid we follow the humans. Let's break it down.
Break it down for me.
Let's break it down, because what is authenticity really? Some folks hear authentic and I think maybe they're thinking about oversharing or not having any boundaries. Almost even, I'd say, Kishshana, people hear authentic and kind of set up a false dichotomy with being authentic versus being professional.
Ooh.
What do you think?
Like, the professionalism is the mask and authenticity is the antithesis. We
wear the mask, they say. We wear the mask.
I think for me, like, authenticity is not just about spilling your whole life story in the Monday morning staff meeting, right? Because honestly, why do you want everybody to know the shenanigans and the chicanery you were doing that weekend? Okay? Don't nobody want to know that, what you did at Bottomless Mimosas. No one is interested in the level of laundry you have to do for the baby. Like, except maybe other moms who also want to commiserate at that level, because I would want to know. I'd feel really, but then, you know what I'm saying? Like, this whole idea of like bringing your whole self, and we'll probably get into it later, but like, that's why I was like, no, I am totally against bringing your whole nothing to anywhere. Because first of all, Maria, sometimes you don't even like yourself. Okay? Some of us don't even know our whole selves. You still operating on your 8-year-old self. Okay, we in therapy because it is. So why would you want to bring the 4th grader with the smelly underarms to work?
No. Oh.
We don't need that. Everybody don't need all of it. So for me, it's really about aligning your actions with your values. And it's about consistency. It is about walking with integrity. It is about really knowing who you are and staying in that curious learning mode and letting that show in your leadership.
Okay. So see, now I'm seeing how we came to such different answers to the question. Definitions are so important, y'all. This is core and critical to the way we do work with clients. We're like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Can you help me define that? What do you mean?
Yes. You work with management. We're going to have a glossary of terms. We're all going to speak the same language with the same understanding. So yeah, I think authenticity is showing up in a way that reflects your truth, not necessarily someone else's expectations. To me, the core of it is about the important work of humanizing our workplaces. So one of the reasons I say, yes, you can be your authentic self as work is because I just believe, there are levels to this, right? There are levels to this. If unhealed 4-year-old 4th grader you is a real part of who you are, the workplace is not the place to work that out. But I promise you, it may trigger that coming out. And so how do we create workplaces that can handle the fullness of humanity, including people being their authentic selves? Because if you don't know how to handle conflict and you find yourself in a conflict, your authentic response to that conflict is going to reflect who you are and how you've come into that space. There are just going to be things that you can't fake your way out of because they're real. They're real experiences. You can change your tone, your look, your whole vibe, try to fit in. But you know what? You're still you.
You're still you. Everywhere you go, there you are. Hello?
Everywhere you go, there you are. Let me even be an example right here for myself and the people. My most authentic way of saying that is like, midday, midday, midday,
Medea.
midday. People be like, midday.
Okay.
Which is, my very familiar, tongue, my Jamaican patois for like, I'm here.
That's it.
So when people talking about being present at work and not being performative, I think that's a setup of a false dichotomy too. Yeah. I am performing my work duties while I am present at work. Midday, it's me.
That's it.
It's me doing it.
Ooh, I am performing my work duties while I am present at work.
Yes.
So let's pause that for a second, because where we get it messed up, I be using the F-bomb. Where we get it messed up is many of us are not present. We are not present to ourselves. We are not present to our families. We are definitely not present to our team members.
Right.
So it becomes one big to-be movie.
Not to be.
I'm saying.
I had to pause too. I was like, is she talking Shakespeare or like the ridiculous film product that we can create out of this situation?
The latter.
TUBI, y'all. Another potential sponsor for this podcast.
For me. Just saying. Listen, our listeners are gonna hook us up. They're gonna be like, just pitch for us, okay? There's a potential there for you. Okay, listen.
AARP, I know you're out there.
Hello, Depends. I know you're out there. I'm just saying, huh? Middle 40s, the continents on deck. Just
stop it. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. The masks, the makeup,
the memories. Oh, here's the thing. You hit the nail on the head. We could just end the thing right now, okay? Because the reality is, if you are not present to yourself, everything in your life is a performance. So you wake up exhausted. You get dressed exhausted. You get your babies exhausted. You're looking at your partner sideways because you're exhausted. By the time you get to work, you're caffeinated and also exhausted. And then you got to thug it out, muscle it up, and throw on your Clark Kent for 8, 9, 10 hours?
Yeah, plus a commute.
Y'all, this ain't no joke.
So did you try, Kishshana, to like be less of yourself to fit into your idea of a professional setting? Did you ever do that?
Step 1, 21-year-old Kishshana, new manager, fresh out of my MBA. First of all, I didn't even start wearing makeup until I was in the workplace professionally. Okay, so you can imagine. So I had on a full panqueque of a single color because nobody knew nothing about contour. Okay, and blending and stuff. Okay, I was wearing blue eyeshadow at 20 because that's what I knew how to do.
Stop, not the blue.
I'm just letting y'all know who it is. Okay, so I thought I had to put on makeup. I thought I had to wear my bouffant. Okay, so I had when I was in Boston, I had the good doobie wrap. All my New Yorkers and East Coast, and y'all know what a doobie wrap is. Okay, I was at the Dominicans getting my wrap. And then I added in what we now refer to as bundles. Then just called it a weave. Okay, because if you can't grow it, you're going to go it. Go for it. And then you didn't get it from the beauty supply store because you didn't want it to look like a thing, because that looked like plastic. So you had to go to the people who had the people to pay the hundreds of dollars to get the sew-in to look like the people them.
Wow.
Then I cut my nails and I had a French manicure for years. I had stubs. I only started getting my nails with length again during the pandemic when the Queen Angel was like, Ma, you gonna stop getting these colored stubs? Because I had nail art all the time. But for years, I just had a Frenchie. What else? I wore suits my first couple of years, gray, black, blue. And then I got tired of that. So I switched to dresses. Okay, let me say I kept Casper in business. You hear me? I felt like a ghost of myself.
Oh.
But as a fundraising professional, and particularly because I had moved into the C-suite so early, and I look young, right? And so I probably look younger now than I did when I was in my 20s, which is crazy. So I'm having my own Benjamin Button experience. The more authentic I am, the younger I look. So peep that, y'all. Hello?
Is
Performing
that
is
maybe a
aging us.
secret of the black not cracking?
I'm not sure. My mom would say it's
I don't
Pond's
know.
cream, and you know what I'm saying? Wash it with Dettol and stuff sometime. Who could say? But all I know is that I didn't even know that I was performing.
Mm.
But what I knew was that I would do whatever I needed to do to get to the spot I wanted because I wanted the compensation that came with the title.
Mm.
And I thought that's what you're supposed to do. That's what I saw around me. So I didn't even know that I was code switching. I grew up in the type of West Indian home. We ain't talk about that. I saw them stay was the conversation. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the nuance of conversation. I know other people did. I didn't take Africana studies in college. I went to a straight small business school in New England.
Shout out to all my Africana studies majors.
Shout out to y'all.
We in here.
I didn't do none of that. So my awareness of my own world was a little late in the making, you see. So the first time I decided to stop relaxing my hair, I probably was about to have senile. So I was 25.
Mm.
That was short lived. Then I cut all my hair off and I buzz cut. Okay. And then I let it grow back natural. And then I kept weaving it. And then I two-strand twisted it. And then it was braiding it. And then one day I said, I'm going to just go to work with my hair natural. I had the bubble guts. And I was a chief development officer with a staff of 20 in 4 states. And I had the bubble guts like it was my first day at work.
Wow. For what? Like just
wearing my hair out.
But what, like their reaction?
Their
or your
reaction,
feeling in
their
it?
perception, the ooh-ahs, the, oh my God, your hair, the, are you going to ask me to touch it? I mean, like the, I don't feel professional, the, do I look like a market woman? Like my mom said, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
maybe they'll play market woman in a second.
The market woman is the official businesswoman. Doesn't get credit for being a whole businesswoman also, but that's a different topic for another time.
Doesn't get credit for being a whole businesswoman. That's what I say. She actually probably is the most official businesswoman. So thanks for asking the question. I'm curious about you. Like, you said you was coming out of college talking about you want me to what? Change, huh?
It's funny. Different experience. I started locking my hair senior year of college. So I came out with these little locks, and I had gotten my nose pierced, and it really concerned my parents. Like they were very concerned that I hadn't been thinking seriously about my future. But there was really never anything to worry about. I went into college. I had this amazing opportunity coming out of high school to get an internship on Wall Street. I interned at Goldman Sachs before even going to college. So rising freshman, and I'm spending my summer taking the 2 local from the Bronx down to Wall Street every morning to work a whole internship at Goldman Sachs. And that was a pivotal summer for me as far as realizing that there's a certain level of corporateness, a certain level of, as we're talking about, quote, professionalism, that I had obviously gained access to, and also realized, like, I don't think this is for me. And, it's highly stylized down there at Wall Street. They intentionally make it very competitive.
I had that internship at JP Morgan before the merger, Bank of America in London.
Yeah.
So I was in that world.
I just knew that level of competitiveness, or the way in which the competitiveness was set up. I was stressed out every morning about whether I was wearing the right thing, and I didn't like that. I also had, for 13 years, been wearing a uniform every day, so I didn't have the muscle memory of like picking an outfit every day. And so I kind of just reverted to, here will be my uniform. I'm wearing, like, nobody. I realized people cared, but not that much. And so I really found myself that summer hiding for comfort, but then getting uncomfortable with not being visible through my clothing. So it was a weird dynamic. Yeah, it was weird, but it did help me figure out, I can earn a lot of money doing this, and I don't know if that's ever going to be enough for me. And then I had a wonderful internship on the creative side of marketing at IBM. After my freshman year of college, I gave it one more go in this corporate space. That was interesting. It was different, definitely felt more creative, had a mentor who was really honest with me about her life and the work and the industry. And that was it. That was it for me in corporate internships. I then spent the next few summers and next internship opportunities working in the arts, doing arts marketing and arts education, theater arts. I went to the South African National Arts Festival, did work study as a stage manager for 2 productions. I just realized there were other ways I could make a living that let me be more creative, let me feel more like myself. And that gave me a lot of confidence, right? So I think whereas other people might have had 4 straight summers, 4 straight years of having to navigate that, I had like, okay, I know what that looks like and feels like, and there are other ways too. So I built up my confidence knowing I didn't have to rely on this first way I had been introduced to. And so, yeah, I graduated with my hair was already natural. I was locking it, had my little nose ring. I did not pursue like one of those very competitive first year analyst positions on Wall Street. Like, to do what? I did not graduate in finance. So me, my Africana studies degree and my communications degree, we were like, we're going to do something else. And I ended up going into museum studies, and I had a great time in arts education for some time. And then very quickly, for reasons of economies of scale of living back in New York City, went into fundraising for nonprofits. It was not a hard jump for me, and I did it very intentionally. And because I carried that concern and nervousness about professional presentation, I actually avoided individual giving, major gifts, and being the head of a team. I wanted something where I could make big impact, but not necessarily have to engage in external presentation. It was still something I hadn't gotten over, even though I was very confident in my abilities. And so that's really what made choosing institutional giving easy for me. Foundation program officers don't want to come to the gala, and they won't. And if they're coming to a site visit, you can prepare for it. It's the one day you carry a blazer to work. But otherwise, it's about, research, writing, relationship building, oftentimes over the phone or via email, or every once in a while in a structured meeting that I get to curate. So I had a lot of
control,
getting over my concerns by exerting a lot of control.
Whoosh.
So yeah, that's it for me. So I did get to be myself, and I was in my professional setting, professional being like the place in which I show up for work that I earn money for. My career did accelerate. I think by the time I ended up vice president at the National Urban League, I was in my early 30s. And I remember for the first interview with the recruiter, I intentionally did not wear a blazer. And for all of my interviews at the league, I did not wear a blazer. And it's because I wore a blazer to an interview before for a similar type of job. And not only was I uncomfortable in the blazers, I do have broad shoulders. I'm a big back before it became a thing to call people
I think that's
derogatorily.
Literally our identity from the island we're from.
Yeah, like I already was like, I'm not comfortable. And then when I sat there waiting to be called in to be interviewed, and I'm looking at everyone in their cubicles walking around, none of them looked particularly energized, present, inspired by their work either. It was just a lot of people in blazers and suits who looked professional and not present. And I said, I think this is a bunch of zombies. I don't want to work here. I don't want to be sucked dry. I'm not going to become one of these people, and I'm not going to change them either. So I knew going into the interview, I don't want this job. Or I don't want to work here. Like, this is not, now that I'm here, right? Like, this feels off. This vibe is not the vibe. So then later on, having the interview at the Urban League, I said, I am intentionally not wearing.
That's so wild. We had such different experiences, right? Like, I thought that when I tried to conform, French manicures, quiet tone, just the facts demeanor, what I realized over time was that people didn't like me, right? Like, if you love me, you love me. If you don't, you don't. Like, I'm definitely not a lukewarm kind of person. I think people either like, oh my God, Kishshana, I'm obsessed, or ew. Like, I think one or the other. And so it took me a really long time to figure out, like, if I'm going to be judged anyway, I might as well show up as me. Because, I remember I went through an interview cycle, speaking of interviews, where I knew I was the best damn candidate for that damn job. You hear me? Sometimes I'd be like, I don't know, man. But this time I knew. You know what the recruiter who I happen to know told me on the low? Yeah, they thought you were a bit much. What does that mean?
What does that even mean?
It was the combo of how polished I was, how fly my hair was. It was wintertime in New York City, and I came in with a jacket that had a fur collar. Evidently,
Okay.
I was a smidge too far.
You know, there's another side of that, and it's like, well, they're not enough.
Facts.
They got less because they're not enough. And that's not like a shade, right? I'm not saying that like, oh, it's just whatever it would take to hold what I could bring, you're not willing to build that infrastructure. And so eventually I'd break you because I'm not going to break.
Yep.
So eventually I'd break you. And I see you're protecting that. And so cool. Like you got less. Cool.
Oh, if I could go back and tell my 28-year-old, my 32-year-old self, that 35-year-old self, it took me a minute to be like, bump this, right? People always ask me like, oh, you're so confident and you're so authentic, whatever. And sometimes authenticity, depending on who the person who is saying it, feels like it's a dart being thrown. I remember I had a board member years ago who told me, oh my God, Kishshana, you're so colorful.
Okay.
To which I immediately responded, oh, everybody needs a little color in their life.
Mm.
It was fast on the draw, but I was like, like, hello? So, I think that there are risks and rewards about it, right? Like,
definitely risks. Definitely risks. What were some of the risks though? Like, I mean, I feel like you've been talking about the feelings, but like, were there actual risks that
I was at that they were actually taking on me? Absolutely not. Wildly gifted, not just smart, wicked smart, right? I'm one of the few people that you will ever meet that is both strategic, creative, and operationally made, if you will. So I can see strategy to implementation in like 32 seconds flat, and I can pull it together to creative, and I know who to deploy to get it done. Like, that ain't everybody. Let's be very clear, okay? So the fact that my vernacular can be more relaxed does not belie the fact that I have multiple degrees, and multiple designations, and many certifications. My education, my choice to speak in a more relaxed tone is what endears people to me. And so what is the risk in folks feeling like they know me already? If we are in fact in the business of relationships, and we are on the hook for raising capital, then the speed at which I can build those relationships is quite important.
That's such a challenge because oftentimes that, oh, you're too much, you're unprofessional. Not only does that, as you so aptly pointed out, harm the organization, right? They lost out on that. They made a choice. That means they don't get access to that. Also, there are a number of people who then are taken from that unprofessional to not leadership material pipeline.
Yep.
So you're overlooked for promotion, for mentorship in a real way, not like let me help you shop at Ann Taylor instead of wherever the heck it is you're going, or let me do this or that, like the coaching on how to navigate more than the advice on how to assimilate. That's what I'm talking about. But I mean, that to me seems like a real harm for individuals, not being taken seriously because you're not matching this idea of what a professional leader, executive in our sector and in a number of industries should and could look like.
That's right. And I think that was probably the outcome, the perceived risk, right? So people would hire us, particularly if you are a Black woman, if you're queer folk, gender expansive, folks with accents, big styles, big personalities. If you are not a cisgendered white man, and then closely followed by a palatable white woman, then followed closely by a white gay man, right? And then the tropes go on and on and on down the line because there is a thing, right? Then those things that we get dinged for, other people get praised for. There's a thing about power of personality. So if you can use power of personality to get people to move mountains, then why is my personality that has mad power being used against me? Oh, because it doesn't suit your purpose. I'm outshining the master, if you will. And so there's so many stories I could tell, but what the research backs up is that this idea of masking, of code switching, particularly as you are thinking about being a manager, the toll is taken in you. It can help folks be perceived as more air quotes professional, but it comes at a hella high price, right? Like emotionally, mentally, it's exhausting, and it is not sustainable.
And, it reinforces the idea that the right way to lead is just a narrow one. just as you said, usually white, male, middle class, cis, able-bodied, right? Can I nerd out just a little bit here, Kishshana? I
Oh,
just want to nerd.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Shout out to the great scholar and advocate and activist, Leah Goodridge.
Oh,
If
yeah.
y'all have not read her articles, a couple years old now, but it still feels fresh every time I refer to it and return to it. So it's called Professionalism as a Racial Construct. And in it, Leah examines professionalism as a tool to subjugate people of color in the legal field.
Yep.
She defines professionalism as a standard with a set of beliefs about how one should operate in the workplace. So while professionalism seemingly applies to everyone, it's actually used to widely police and regulate people of color in various ways. We've talked about some of them already, right? Hair,
Yes.
tone, food, scents. She goes on to make the case that it is not merely that there is a double standard in how professionalism applies. It's actually that the standard itself is based on a set of beliefs grounded in racial subordination and white supremacy.
Woo!
And so through this analysis, professionalism is revealed to be a racial construct.
Yeah.
So, boom, 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 boom. Leah, thank you. What a contribution to the conversation. It reminds me of an even older article that was so pivotal of a read for me personally. This eye-opening piece of research, it really deeply impacts how I've worked with organizations since reading it in 2020. It's Victor Ray's Theory of Racialized Organizations. We think professionalism is race neutral the same way most organizational theories think organizations are race neutral. So they're not. So Ray proposes.
Say that again for the people in the back.
They're not race neutral. You cannot exist in an inherently racist world and be like, oh, but we're race neutral. We don't see color. The organization is just the organization. You know, the definition is just the definition. It's not the thing. It's how it's applied and it's how it functions. And it applies and functions racially, right? So anyway, so Ray proposes that race is constitutive of organizational foundations, hierarchies, and processes. And in his work, he developed these 4 tenets. I'll go through them real quick. One is that racialized organizations enhance or diminish the agency of racial groups, right? So it can, it enhances for one group, it diminishes for the other. Racialized organizations legitimate the unequal distribution of resources, right? So it's like, well, why is so-and-so's budget this much and my budget is X much? Shout out to all of my non-white women DEI chief diversity officers that were hired in 2020, 2021, hired reporting to HR, not the CEO, and had a budget of $4.52.
That's right.
Okay. That's just an example. 3 is my favorite tenet. Whiteness is a credential. Is there a mic? Can I drop it? Okay. Thank you. And the last tenet that Victor Ray offers is the decoupling of formal rules from organizational practice is often racialized.
Ooh,
so when you're trying to be like, oh, we're going to have this new policy, like that in of itself is also racialized too. So, okay, just want to bring up those 2 pieces. I went through them real quick. Professionalism is a Racial Construct by Leah Goodridge and The Theory of Racialized Organizations by Victor Ray. Just wanted to drop that into the conversation.
We'll make sure those in the show notes.
Yeah, thank you for letting me just nerd out on those 2 a little bit. And I will pause because do you have thoughts about my
first of all,
nerd diversion?
I need a nap so I can get up and read the entire abstract and all that. I immediately Googled it to say, now, why did I read that? Maria, why you didn't tell me to read that when you was reading it? That'd have been a good book club. Heck with my nerdy self. The reality is, I didn't even have words for what he so clearly named, and can think of probably about 5 examples right now where all of those things were happening. And because I spent most of my career in the C-suite, the fact that they were happening in real time, in concert, okay, it was a symphony of racialized foolishness and
a cacophony.
And the cacophony of gaslighting, okay? Of weaponized narcissism. Like, just is a miracle that I ain't stroke out yet.
I'm glad you're here.
I am too. And the fact that we want to, some of us, not many of us, some of us want to pretend like we are in a neutral anything is wild to me. It reminds me of a former colleague, because I don't fool with her no more. And I had to say that clearly. Like, I could have said I do not talk with her anymore, but I want to underscore. Shouldn't ramp with me, men ramp with her. Okay, I don't fool with her no more. Sent me an email that said, Kishshana, you should just stick to your fundraising and your leadership expertise. Not sure why you were in your newsletter speaking about race.
What?
Talking to her obviously was not enough. I saw her at a conference, and she had not gotten a hint that I did not respond to any of her text messages, phone calls, voice notes, or emails. Fine. Then the lady has the nerve to reach her hand across, and it happened so fast that it happened so fast. And she touched my face. My face, that it had the makeup on it. She touched my face. And she said, I don't see color. And I grabbed her wrist real hard. And I flipped it over. And I said, do you see the color that's on your hand right now for my foundation? Do you see it? She was startled. Oh! And I just left it, dropped her hand, and walked off.
It's too much.
And this is somebody who teaches people how to raise money. So we got to get practical, because, every time we start spouting, we think, look, isn't it funny how when we've been in rooms where we have our counterparts who like to spout facts, well, the data says, well, I wonder if, well, I had a wondering, well, why don't we double click on? The minute we flip the script, well, I wonder, well, the data says, well, let me double click on, people's eyes glaze over. All of a sudden, oh, we need to humanize. So let me get practical.
Please.
On how you actually take all of this stuff and become your authentic self as a manager without oversharing or losing the room. Step one, my friends, and Maria, you and I have said this. We have talked about it. We have demonstrated it. We have Watusi'd on it. Here we are again. Reflect on your values. Some of y'all are living in aspirational values. It would be nice if I cared about community. It would be nice if I cared about equity. It would be nice if I cared about, right? Like, there would be nice ifs. So we need to get you on the real values that you care about. Know your why. If you value transparency, make that a part of your communication style. If you value creativity, let it show up in how you solve problems and how you lead meetings, and make sure that you articulate that to your team. When I say creativity, this is what that means to me. Back to here at ManageMint, we like to define things. Hello.
A glossary of terms that everyone understands and agrees to adhere to in that space.
Touch and also agree.
Agree.
Boom. So that's step one.
Give me another step.
Notice how your authenticity lands.
And
I don't want you to edit yourself out of fear, but I do want you to observe. I was coaching a client yesterday, and I was talking with him about that. Like, bro, what you mean you over here masking? The part of me was like, well, I know how you feel, because I do. On the other hand, I don't want anybody to go to the work where they love feeling exhausted. You don't want to be sitting in the parking lot going, oh, hell, here we go again. Like, we just don't need that. So what I need you to do is ask your team for feedback. Something simple as naming, hey, y'all, I've been trying to show up a little bit more openly. Like, how's that coming across to y'all? Do you see anything different? That's very similar to, do you like this outfit? Did you notice anything new I did to my hair? Remember, we are in a relationship with our teams, with our peers, with our managers, with our donors, with our clients, with our customers. Shall I go on?
You could.
So,
but I think we get it.
The authenticity requires a relationship check-in. And then I think step 3, you got to lead with your boundaries and intention. Remember, boundaries are invitations to how people get to be in community with you. They're things you set for yourself. Like, it's not that here's what we're not going to do, right? It's here's what I'm not going to do. You do what you're going to do. And you have to be able to articulate the intention. You can still be warm and still hold expectations. I had a client once tell me they felt like I was a corporate raider that still got invited to everybody's wedding and baby shower. So I'm breaking up
Because you can hold both.
You can hold both. You can be funny and still be decisive. It's both and, right? Maria, what do you think?
Okay, that's 3.
Okay.
I mean, let me get through all of them. Give me all of them. Give me the last one.
Okay. I think you got to find your anchor mantra. Now, you heard me say it earlier. For me, it's everywhere you go, there you are. I say this all the time. Everywhere you go, there you are. For you, it might be lead like you. Whatever keeps you grounded. For you, it might be a quote. It might be something that you heard your mama say over and over again, your grandma, whatever. Like something that sticks with you, but it is something that guides who you are. I am authentic. I lead with integrity. I am open, honest, and direct. I lead with a level of vulnerability. I press to make sure I'm not being hypocritical. I am willing to come back to the mat. I am willing to admit when I'm wrong. I know that I can be manipulative if I am not careful. I know when I'm not fed, I am resentful, right? Like, baby, because everywhere I go, there I am.
That is it.
So whatever keeps you grounded, you have got to be able to ensure that you are naming it, claiming it, and exclaiming it.
Oh,
Get it how you live it.
I like what you did there.
Get it how you live it. You like that?
I like what you did there. I think these are such practical steps, and I don't want to miss the inherent or potential challenges.
That's fair.
In spite of their practicality.
That's fair.
You know, especially reflecting on your values, as foundational as that is, as much as we press on that when we're working with clients, that could be hard for people who might then realize the things they've been saying they value, they actually don't. Right? You actually don't. You actually question that value.
Yep.
And you're maybe just saying it out your mouth, I value that, because you think it'll resonate with everyone else. And what you're really looking for is validation, not an opportunity to embody your values. So that could be hard. I just want to put it out there. That could be hard. Step 2 reminds me a lot of attunement, which, you know, a lot of people are not attuned.
Oh, we said you're not present. You're dialing it in.
Exactly. They're not actually in these relationships they have. They're leveraging the relationships they have. And I think that it's the very mindset of what I have versus who I am. If I am in relationship with you, I'm functioning differently than, oh, I have this access to Kishshana.
I'm sick of that shit. Oop! I said, well, damn it, I made it almost the whole episode without cussing. I'm so sorry, friends. And Julie, don't edit that mess out, because I am sick of it. The number of times that people have asked me over the last year, where you been? How come you don't come to this conference no more? How come we don't see you anymore? Because people are phony as...
Did you self-censor? That was cute.
The number of humans that have leveraged my goodwill, my connections, and my willingness to go above and beyond, to step on my neck, to their own mezzanine.
Oh,
there you go. I'm gonna leave that right
there. That felt in direct conflict with my lift as we climb. Oh, they on your neck. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
On my neck.
Step 3 is necessary. Your intentions and your boundaries. People need to be able to know where you are on things.
Yeah.
And I think boundaries and intentions help people do that. And the last step I love. I wasn't expecting it, actually, Kishshana. You took me for a loop here. Just having that mantra. You know, I'm big on affirmations, and I think mantras and affirmations have a wonderful relationship with one another, because this can be affirming, especially for leaders who feel like they're alone, like you're with yourself. That's the first relationship.
That's right.
Lead like you know, Medea, like I'm here. It's a reminder for the presence.
That's right.
So I love these steps. I think they are practical, and, you know, hearing them, sitting with them as you've been saying them, just want to remind folks that just because they're practical, just because they appear simple, doesn't mean they can't be a challenge for you.
That's right.
They're profound in their simplicity and in their potential impact, but you have to be serious about doing that work.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, like, to me, authenticity is a journey, right? Particularly for those of us who were rewarded for tap dancing for the people. So getting to use some role models who break the mold, whether they are real or they're your TV role models, I think is very important to do. And really thinking to yourself, can you be authentic? Can you be your authentic self as a manager? Maria, you might have pulled me to you. I think absolutely. But the bottom line is, it's a yes, but.
Yes, and.
Nah, yes, but this time. It takes clarity, courage, and community. Okay? And some of y'all may add a bonus and some coaching. And so if you know that you are like, you're like the lion in Oz, in the Wiz, and you need to ease on down the road. Welcome to the Wizards, except we not full of it. Ha! We might be green, but we not full of food. I'm trying to, that's why I could never be like a freestyle rapper, because the things don't be rhyming. Okay, listen. Coaching that we offer, restorative coaching, ensuring that you are leading with your authentic self. Did I say authentic? Yes, I did.
I liked it. I liked it. +1.
+1. Let me tell you what you'll get when you work with our team, okay? This is authenticity at its finest, okay? So it's the knowing and the doing, and most importantly, the being, right? We walk alongside you to make sure that you live powerfully, but you also lead from a powerful place, not from fear, but from focus, right?
Oh.
Hello?
Yes.
Ingenuity,
That was a good
innovation,
one.
imagination. I'm back. Y'all like that? That was awesome. If that's something that you are like, yes, in these times that we are in, where 300,000 Black women are being escorted out of the workplace, because I'm not going to say leaving. We was leaving willingly. And people are trying to find their footing, and organizations and companies are trying to figure out who are they going to be in this ridiculous new normal. Our team at ManageMint, we are so invested in your wellness, in crisis and change management, in restoration, in navigating grief alongside you, in ensuring that you as a whole person, you as a leader, you as an organizational head, you as a gathering of folks who come to either deliver on service or product or people, are doing that from a whole place. So please reach out to our team to do that. And otherwise, keep it real. Keep it a stack.
Yeah, we see your authenticity as a leadership advantage, right? It's not a liability to us. And we hope you don't see it as a liability to yourself. The more you lead like you, the more you give your team permission to show up fully too.
So don't shrink, don't dim, and don't twist yourself into someone else's idea of manager and management material. You are the material.
Ooh, say that again. I don't think everybody was perked up enough.
You are the material, okay? You're the one, Neo. You're the one. Hello? Thanks for hanging with us today, y'all, and we'll see you next time on Management Made Easy.
Take care of your truth, friends, and lead well. You know what it is. Miss us.